Here's a video of the car. Sorry I didn't make it yesterday. My voice still wasn't back. So I would say in the light, the bumpers look the same as the rest of the paint. I guess if you look on the very top, they're a little more faded, but this is nothing that wouldn't rub right out. As far as the imperfections go on the paint, I'll point them out as I go around the car. Tires and wheels are stock. BF Goodwrench G-Force tires, they have great rubber on them, all four corners. The brakes have been recently done, all four corners. And you can see the windows are tinted. It's just it's not super dark limo tint, it's just the next step up. You can see through them, but they're relatively dark. Same with the fronts. There's no body damage on the car at all. It's never been in an accident. This is the original paint. You can see all the lenses are bright and clear. It goes for front and back. I actually haven't even washed the car in a while, so you're kind of looking at it in its worst case. This is the worst part of the paint. I don't know if you can see right there. Last winter, it got caught outside in a snowstorm, and the snow didn't melt for about a week, and so the paint cracked right there, and a little piece of paint fell off. I didn't notice it until the spring. Basically, looking at it, it just needs, probably a guy just sands this little spot right around there. Actually, I'm sorry, not even that big. Probably right around there. You just sand it and touch up the paint and it would be fixed. That's definitely the worst spot. There's a scratch in it. That can easily be rubbed out. It looks like it's on the surface. It definitely has no depth to it. In the windows. Step back here a little bit. Rear tires, same thing. There is one dent right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's right about there. That came from the inside of the trunk. There was something inside the trunk at one time and it popped through and made a little dent. Nothing's cracked. I think it could just be tapped in. And there is one dent up here. You can see it on the top of the fender. Something hit it at one time. Those are definitely the two worst. I think if I walk around the car, if I remember right, there's barely a tiny one on the top of that fender. Other than that, that's all it for the door dings. Everything else that's imperfections on the paint is just surface that could be rubbed off or buffed out. There's a rub mark here on the back fender. I think it was from a bicycle or something. It's just surface though on the paint. It can be rubbed off. There's a small paint chip on the top of the spoiler there. Other than that, that's it. I think if you just really buffed it out, it'd be looking great shape. I'll open up the hood. Or I'll open up the door first here. Here's the interior. I would say all the panels, everything is in, near perfect condition. There's no scratches, fading, nothing. That's the aftermarket tack we put in it, and that's it. Other than that, it looks very factory. There's the console. You can see on the front that little red button. That's the button I was telling you about for the transmission. And there's a little light right next to it that illuminates when it's on. It's kind of like the sport mode for the transmission. There's the seats. Both are in great condition. I actually noticed today there's a small wear mark on the driver's seat right there. It's not a rip, it's just a wear mark. That's the only one. You can't see it unless you're on the other side of the car. The carpets are a little bit stained. I think they could be shampooed out, but they're definitely not bad by any means. Here's the inside, these door panels. Again, back seat, everything's in perfect condition. As far as leather wise, you see the floors. I'll open the other doors for you. Same thing, great condition. I think that's just a water spot on the carpet from my feet. There's this door panel. Dash, there's no cracking, nothing's popped up. This seat. The car sat inside most of its life. Unfortunately, until I got it, and I've owned it for about 5 or 6 years. It's sat outside since then because I didn't have room in my garage for it. Other than that, it's been an inside car. I'll start it up for you. It's 88,000 on it, obviously original miles. It does have an aftermarket head unit, but that's it. The rest of the stereo stock, it's just a head unit. Nothing's been cut up. There's never been any amps or subs in the car. Obviously good oil pressure and charging system works. Heat, air conditioning, all works perfect. AC blows ice cold. I'll pop the hood for you. Got the stock exhaust coming out the back. You can kind of hear back here the cam lump that's in it is relatively stock sounding. It's definitely got a little something in it, but it's not loud by any means. Probably can't even tell the difference from the stock cam, except when you step on it. My buddy who built the car dyno tuned it, and I believe he said it had 353 horse at the rear tires. I'll show you the motor here with the engine off so you can hear me. It's an LT4, so it's stock bottom end that the car came with the LT4 aluminum heads on the top. You can tell down there, you can see the aluminum. Now, without taking the air box off, you can see the red LT4 intake on it. And then it has a custom ground camshaft in it. The LT4 has roller rockers on it from the factory. This has headers on it. The catalytic converters have been taken off, but they will come with the car. It's just a straight head pipe from the headers down into the stock exhaust, about it behind the transmission, I think, or maybe right before it. It's got all MSD wires and MSD coil. Everything's been changed on it when the motor was built. As far as, the distributor, all the sensors. This is what I was talking about, just the straight hose we put in. Factory had a big air box thing right here. I have it. It'll come with the car if you want it. It's a stock air box. It does have a Can-N filter inside of it. But yeah, there it is. If you're interested, feel free to come take a look at it and drive it. I mean, like all Impalas, it hauls butt. does killer burnouts, and it's super comfy to drive down the road.